Good morning to my lovely people out there. My name is Ryland. I am a singer-songwriter and intuitive guide, and I'm here with a message for you this morning. Normally, I would sit down and write in my journal and kind of take my time with the energies before I do a message, but this morning I just felt I was in such a good mood and just feeling so centered and satisfied already that I thought, why not jump right in? So here we are. It's a little smaller of a reading than I would normally do, so that's kind of nice. It's kind of just a little short breakfast reading. The first card I pulled for you is Heart Chakra, and at the same time came out Solar Plexus. Green and yellow. Ooh, what a beautiful little color combo there. 3 and 4. Could be seeing 3s and 4s significantly. On the bottom of the deck was Intuition. On the bottom of the deck was Intuition. Look at her. She has all the answers in the universe at her disposal through her intuition. She just has to feel them. And then I'm just going to give you your animal cards as well. Elk as animal spirit guide. Dragonfly, bottom of the deck. I like to show all the cards and kind of put them up at the camera before I even start talking, because I know that when I watch readings, sometimes I create my own meanings before someone even starts giving the message. Sometimes I see things for myself in my specific situation, so that's what I like to give the opportunity for. But this is pretty open and pretty general, and it's pretty positive. I see that with the solar plexus and the heart chakra. Oh, interesting. I actually just switched the cards around when I put them back. Now solar plexus is first and heart chakra second. So this could be something that you deal with or have dealt with, is figuring out which to put first, right? Because the solar plexus represents our fire element. It represents our ego. It represents willpower, our strength to take action, our strength to have a sense of self, to have self-esteem. And our heart represents, it's kind of paradoxical because it sort of feels opposite to that, but it actually does complement it. The heart is about surrendering to something greater. It's surrender to the interconnectedness of all of life. It's about the love that connects all of life. It's about the emotional undercurrent that we're all part of, and that affects each other. Everything affects each other through emotions. So, a beautiful singing bird above me just now. Love is very soft. The heart chakra to me is it's a very vulnerable, soft energy. It can be very strong in that, but the solar plexus is a very physically powerful, strong, and more what's the word? I guess just a little more rigid. So you need these two energies within you, obviously, to live a human life and to be your fullest realized self. But I know even for myself, sometimes you can have a hard time between which one comes first and which one is sort of taking over in terms of which intuition you're following. That's the intuition on the bottom of the deck. Sometimes it can be challenging to listen to these centers in harmony rather than one of them dominating, is what I'm getting. So solar plexus, sometimes we can find ourselves in our ego. Oh, something's just crawling on my toe. We can find ourselves in our ego because the solar plexus also rules over that, where, you know, we're trying to move forward in our physical life, trying to move forward mentally, trying to take actions, trying to forge ahead. And sometimes we can get ourselves into this state that is so dominating and stubborn even, where that forging ahead just kind of, we get blinded in it. We put the blinders on and we really are just moving forward and trucking forward. And that energy is amazing and it's needed and it's the engine. But sometimes I know myself too, sometimes we get lost in the why. Why are we trucking forward? Why are we forging ahead? Why are we exerting all this power, all this strength, all this sense of self? For what purpose? The heart has that answer. The intuition of the heart has that answer. But on the other side of the spectrum, if you're only really ever in the heart, sometimes I find that you can become a little vulnerable, overly vulnerable to others' emotions. You can become a little bit overly vulnerable to taking on too much of the outside world that is not really yours to handle, that's actually keeping you from being a more dynamic individual. It's kind of the masculine and feminine principles as well. So yeah, the heart is a beautiful tool, a beautiful intuition, and it's, I believe, the center of the self, but you need the balance. So that could be something that this collective is looking at today, is just finding balance between the ego and the heart, the sense of self and the heart, because they're both needed, and they're both very powerful, and they are both very wise in their own right when they're working together. Elk here reminds me of the solar plexus a lot, or a very sturdy root chakra. The elk is the father energy, the divine father. He's very, very, again, strong. He's sturdy. He's protective. He's structured. He's disciplined. He knows how to make things happen in the physical realm. He knows how to structure, how to plan. He knows that if he's given instruction, or if he's given a vision, he knows how to bring it into reality. I just got this vision of it's sort of like he's like the dad that when you're a kid, right? Like you want a tree house, or you have this dream and this vision that you want a tree house, you want a clubhouse so bad. And if you had a really, really great dad, he might have been the type to say, okay, I'm going to figure out how to make that for you. And he'll go and he would make it for you. And he might invite you in to help him make it, to show you how, but he would build that treehouse for you. He would go and figure out how to make that happen. That's the elk to me, is like your heart, your intuition, your feminine, comes up with these ideas, right? It has these really beautiful potentials coming from you, from the self, from the field. And you have these wonderful ideas, things that might not have ever been birthed into reality before. And this elk energy to me says, okay, how can we structure this? It takes it and starts to now sit with it and bring it into form really consistently, really sturdily. So this is a guide for you today, I guess, is, okay, yeah, it's, now this is starting to get into more of like a creativity message. Your solar plexus and heart are like an engine. They're like an engine. They're sort of like the fixed masculine and feminine energy. This is just my concept, but it's like they're in the center. They're the center masculine and feminine energies of our energy system, like the fixed signs in astrology. So it's like a very fixed engine to carry something forward. And as the elk, you can do that. You can carry your dreams and your visions forward with these two energies in harmony. But with the dragonfly, you're also very adaptable, especially in the mind. You can adapt quickly. I did a reading yesterday about being a shapeshifter. You have this ability to shapeshift and to adapt to situations to fit what is needed for the greatest good in that situation. Dragonflies, if you've ever watched a dragonfly flying through the air, they can like pivot midair. It's sick. It's pretty rad how they can just kind of like be flying and then just like literally stop and like turn around and go backwards like right midair. It's wild. So you can do that with your mind. You're able to have that kind of willpower and control over the mind to direct towards the visions you have. You might be multi-talented, a jack of all trades, perhaps. Maybe that's part of things, is these birds are going off. Oh. music, singers. Could be very speaking, making noise. Could be very significant for you. You have the ability to move this forward. That engine, that car that just went by, that's confirmation. You have the ability to move this forward. In a really beautiful way. Like, these are big visions. I want to pull tarot to see if we can get any more. Again, I'm sorry, I feel like this doesn't have as many specifics as it normally would. I'm just kind of riffing on a very general message, but it's true. It's like, I think with fixed energy as well comes just the maintenance phase of something, right? Like, I think maybe you've already started something. Maybe you've already started a creative project. Maybe you don't even realize it. You don't think it's like the thing, but it is the thing and you're doing it already. It's just about the maintenance phase, which is like the fixed energy. It's just sticking with it consistently and just showing up and feeling the joy and feeling into the like subtlety and the simplicity of what that means to just show up. You know what? Actually, a little story from me before I get into the tarot. I was at this pizza shop last night. I'd never been there. Last night I went for a drive. I was led to go for a drive and I felt hungry. And I was in a city nearby that I go to fairly often. I know a lot of places there, but I was just driving and my head turned to look to the left, and it was later at night too when a lot of things are closed, and I saw this pizza shop / like eatery diner thing that was just open, and I pulled over. It was in a like more interesting part of town, if you know what I mean. So I was like, oh, should I get out of the car? No, I got out of the car and I was like, it's fine, it's good. So I get out of the car, I walk down to this shop and I go in, and it was just these two, you could tell they were family. And I went in and ordered, and then I came back and sat down to watch them kind of making it and waiting for it. And it was the most beautiful thing to literally just sit and watch this mundane, simple thing unfold. Just, I can't even explain it to you guys. Like, it's like you could tell they were tired and you could tell they've been working really hard all day, but you could tell this is what they do. Like, this is their life, and this is just the purpose that they have for this moment. It's like they were taking care of it. They were taking care to watch and make sure everything was going the way it was supposed to go, and it was just one of those just very spiritual moments where you notice the divinity in simplicity and notice the divinity in like a fixed, rooted energy where somebody is just showing up and doing the thing, even if it's not exciting, even if it's not over the top, and sort of the pride in the work. Even for simple work, for something as simple as serving me a pizza, it was like, I was just watching it in this beauty of the whole thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you've ever had one of these experiences, you understand. It's just like, and I'm not sure if they were even aware I was watching them or if they were even aware of themselves doing this, but I was just watching it and I was like, this is just beautiful. I don't know what it is, just a family business, and they're working hard, and it's like late at night and they're just still, you know, taking care of it. Like a very earth energy kind of love. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an air sign and I'm not, like, I've worked, the gardens are another example for me. I'm sitting here in front of my gardens. These gardens, every time I've gone to work on them in the spring, it's like a couple months of really hard work every day to build them and to lift and dump all the soil and like mix and plant and get on my hands and knees and do it all. But it's hard work, but it's work that I love doing. And even if my body hurts and is sore, and even if I feel tired, it feels so fulfilling and satisfying, and it's work that I love doing. And maybe that's what I'm getting at with this reading, is finding that energy maybe in what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I want to get into the tarot to see if there's any more for you. Any more here, Spirit, in the tarot? 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups. Earth energy, interesting. Earth in the, what I was saying, finding more earth. Being able to find the divinity in earth energy. Ooh, that's big. Finding the divinity in earth. Because it can be hard, right? Because divinity is often considered airy. 7 of Wands. Interesting, 2 7s here. Yeah, divinity and earth energy. Okay. Divinity and earth energy is hard because it's normally considered air. It's up in the air, but there's so much beauty and so much of spirit in everything, right? Spirit's in everything. Okay. Here we are with the tarot. Let's see what we've got here. So, 7 of Cups and 7 of Wands came out with, underneath, 3 of Cups, Temperance, the Sun in reverse, Ace of Wands, 6 of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, with the 8 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Let me take a look at this. Okay, yes. I need to take a little sip of my coffee before I get into this. That bird just has not... It's a robin. Seven of Cups traditionally talks about being lost in illusion, being lost in a lot of choices, being unsure of which direction to go. There are so many options open. This can be like in the positive or negative context. And then 7 of Wands has to do with defending oneself, standing one's ground against some kind of threat. Interesting. Okay, this is what's coming through to me. I think some of you may have actually been trying to defend or fight against how many options you actually have. I think some of you think that maybe there's just this one path, this one thing you need to do with your life. I need to master this thing and be great at this thing and be known for this thing. But I think I'm talking to multi-talented people here, people who are so good and creative at multiple things. And I think you have been maybe subconsciously limiting yourself by fighting against the idea of having all these options. Because sometimes, I know for myself, when I have a lot of options open to me, it can become overwhelming, and then I want to pigeonhole it into one so that it's known, so that it's sure, so that I feel like, okay, this is XYZ. This is my Taurus moon. I like to have one thing that's my thing and like stick to it, and that's that. Cool. But 7 of Cups might hear to me as saying like, you have many options open to you. Even me just clearing my throat there. With the voice, these birds singing, all these birds going off. There's only one now. There were multiple before. You have multiple options. Don't silence these voices that you have within you. That sounded wild. Don't silence these dreams that you have within you, these multiple dreams going on. You don't need to defend against them. What you need to allow is flow and play and creativity. This is something I'm learning too, is learning to flow with rather than to defend against what is wanting to emerge from within you. Especially if you're an expert at something. Like for me, for example, I would consider myself to now be an expert at being a singer, being a songwriter, being a performer. That's been my thing for over a decade. But there are all these other creative outlets within me that I enjoy and that I'm also good at, but I'm not fully mastered at them. I'm not fully expert at them because I haven't allowed myself to express them. And so sometimes I think we can look at ourselves and think that when those things want to be expressed, they're wrong because they're like amateur, they're like childish, and I need to get back to that thing I'm an expert at and that I'm good at and that people value me for. But those things are just as valuable, more than valuable, for you to discover an even greater version of who you are creatively. With Three of Cups and Temperance, I get from that you are very patient emotionally with others. You are very patient with others generally. Maybe you've always been the one in groups to like take on the emotional burden and to take on you are kind of the glue, the frequency holder in a lot of ways for groups. Like you are the person that people come to and are like, oh my God, you're so comfortable to be around. Like you feel so peaceful. Like I'm so comfortable in your presence. Yeah, I get that you don't see how much of a light you are. You don't see how much of this Sun card you are, right? Because the Sun, when it's in reverse, is still a very positive card, but it's not quite fully seeing itself. It's like you are that. You are so light and so bright and such a gift to the people you are around, the world itself, and you don't see it. You don't see how beautiful you are. I think you know you're beautiful. I think you know you're a light, but I don't think you understand like how much. This Ace of Wands here too. You don't understand like the burst of light energy you give off, the creativity, and also how being in this energy, this Ace of Wands, this passion, this ignition, you don't understand how brightly you shine when you are in this energy and how much people love it. You might be used to the people who didn't like it in the past or who shut you down for it, but there are so many silent admirers. That's something I have to remember too. As a public figure, I might be talking to some public figures, but what I've learned as a public figure is you're gonna have people who comment and you're gonna have your normal commenters who say positive things, but there are so many silent admirers as well that don't say anything, that you don't know about, but they're watching you and they're loving everything you're doing. Because I do that with other people. I'm like a fan of other people. I follow and watch people's content all the time, but I don't always comment on it. There are some people that I feel like I know parasocially through the screen, but I never comment on their stuff. But I love it, and they would never know that. So you have people like that in your life too, who love you and admire you and want to embody you and want to see what you're doing next and love everything you're creating. And sometimes it can be discouraging when we don't know that's happening. With these two cards, Six of Wands and Queen of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I see that you haven't allowed yourself to fully celebrate who you are. And maybe you've been in a bit of a a bit of like a jaded, kind of an icy cold Queen of Swords energy. And when I say that, that's intense, but it's like I get like this, definitely, where sometimes it can feel like, yeah, you just get a little bit jaded with the way the world's going. I mean, look at a lot of, if you look at a lot of the media, or if you're aware of anything going on in the world, there are so many reasons out there for us to become discouraged, to become forlorn, and to become jaded, to just kind of look at it all with this sort of like exhausted mind and just see the negative side of things, to see how we're never gonna make it. Like, how am I gonna make it the way that I want to make it? And when I say make it, I mean like become the version of yourself you want to be, live the life you want to be living. The Queen of Swords can become very, judgmental and very cutting, very, I get like, it's like a mean energy, right? And that's okay. That's a great energy to have if you're in battle and when you're dealing with the situations that call for that. But I think it's maybe leaked into, maybe you even think that about yourself. Because I don't get that you're like that with other people. I get that you do that towards yourself. You're judgmental towards yourself, and you're mean towards yourself, and you are hard on yourself when you suppress these beautiful options and this beautiful light you have. When you suppress your creativity, it turns into, all I can picture is like a wounded animal. It's like, in animals, they get snippy and they get defensive. That's kind of like what happens when we suppress our creativity. But you need to celebrate yourself. Like this reverse Six of Wands, turn it upright. You just celebrate yourself, because this Eight of Coins, Eight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, that's you. You're building such a beautiful life. I've actually had visions of this very type of sort of geometry being built in a spiritual sense. You've been this like lone builder, and you have done so well, even if it's only been in phases, right? Because we go in phases. You've healed so much. You've built so much beauty for yourself, and you need to be proud of yourself. Proud of yourself and what you've become, who you are and what you've become, and the creativity that is now blossoming, whatever you've been through. Because this door is opening, it's here for you. You are the elk, you are the dragonfly. You're strong and grounded and practical, and you have that ability to find the divinity in the earth element, but you're also very flexible and adaptable like the dragonfly. You know when to pivot, you know when to change course, you know when to look at something differently. With the fire, the engine of that solar plexus moving you forward, with a strong sense of self, with strong boundaries, with a warrior spirit, with the courage of the heart, the humility, and the grace and the candor of the heart, the understanding that all is one, the interconnectedness. You know how to wield these. I'm getting like, I just feel this collective is so, I want to say like flexible, but you don't understand how I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. I'm seeing it as just like you are becoming a master over all parts of yourself and how to wield all parts of yourself. These parts of you that used to rule you, you now rule them. You are the ruler of the kingdom. You are the Queen of Swords in her upright. You're sharp, you're intelligent, you're precise. You know how to say it like it is. But you also know how to soften and to be so creative. And just like, you are the avatar master of all four elements. I don't think there's much more to say to this collective other than like, you are on the right track, and you need to see yourself that way. You need to see yourself more kindly, because the more you see yourself as the way this spread is showing me you are, and I believe you are, the more you are going to embody that, and the more you are going to live the life you've always dreamed of, not only for yourself, but it's going to help so many other people. And that is a beautiful thing, something we need more than ever. I see the Four of Swords peeking out, so I'll take that as a final message. Meditate on that. Meditate on who you really are. I love to meditate and just get into a state where I'm like, what feels the most satisfying for me right now? What feels the most me? What feels the best for me right now? And just get myself into those thoughts and feelings. And that will lead you. So with that, that's your reading. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are, whenever you are watching this. I love you very much, and I will see you next time. Take care. Lots and lots and lots of love to you. Bye.